Hi, Christos Palukis, performance engineer at Pressidium, manage WordPress hosting. Here with my friend Milana Kapp. Hi, Milana. How's life?
Hi. Hi. Good. Good. Life's pretty good.
That's great.
How,
Uh,
how are you?
Good, not bad. Uh, Weather's getting better in Greece, so I'm happy about that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, Milana and I met at WordCamp Europe in Athens. There's a really funny story in that too. So we're at the Pride party, and I'm making a video message to I don't remember. I think to my partner, and I'm recording it. And I'm like dancing and having fun, and she video bombs, like photo bombs it. She's right behind me, and she's like in the video. That's how we met.
Yeah.
Um,
Sounds like me.
It was fantastic. Milana Cap is a self-taught WordPress developer that's really pretty well known in the WordPress community. She's done lots of talks at meetups and at WordCamps. I think usually this is the part where I ask you to continue the introduction, but I've done most of it. Go ahead. Do you want to add anything else about yourself?
Well, I can add that I'm a co-representative for WordPress Documentation Team and also member of WordPress plugin review team. I've been organizing a few WordCamps, and I'm also speaking not just for WordPress community, but at PHP conferences as well. And I'm WordPress engineer
Ooh, it's a lot
and
of
classical musician.
yeah. You mentioned that, and I kept that
Yeah,
as a surprise for myself. What do you play?
I play piano and accordion.
Oh, accordion. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, no, that's cool. I have a small history, I guess. I stopped playing after high school. I started off with a trumpet in grade school, and trumpet turned
Mm-hmm.
into French horn, which was really fun. French horn, very difficult, very sensitive instrument. And then French horn turned into mellophone, which is like a version of the French horn for marching band, like a big trumpet. Lots of marching band, 4 years of marching band, and
Nice.
for fun. But music theory was my favorite, like composition.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
t
theory and harmony and contrapunct,
Yes.
all of that. Yeah.
Did you do the book, the Robert Galden, Harmonic Practice in Tonal Music?
No, we have actually our own authors, quite a few of them. So we had, at least it was like that when I was in school. So we had really, really good literature for learning music.
Oh, that's cool. Where did you go to school?
I went to primary music school in my city here where I live. Um, and then high school, same city, and then music academy, same city. I'm here in this city since I was born.
All right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, I guess we can go straight into the first big question. Um, I don't remember what the first big question is. Oh, here. I wanted to ask about the contributions that you do in WordPress as the first question. Like, if you could share any experiences and responsibilities as a documentation team representative and the co-lead for the multiple WordPress release cycles that you've been on.
Well, as co-representative for documentation team, it's a lot of administration. You try to do more documentation and actually what you wanted to do in that team, but there's a lot of uh, new members and asking questions, and uh, you answer those questions and help them find their way around. There's also um, facilitating meetings, and by handbook, uh, as a co-rep, I should be also writing meeting notes, but I hate that. So I always tell new contributors that it is the great way to start contributing to the team. So they do meeting notes. So I never do that. Um, But there's more responsibilities when you do the actual release, and you have work-packed weeks and then relaxed weeks, depending on which part of documentation you do. For 5.8, I was the only one doing the documentation. So I was doing both developer documentation and end user documentation, and that was really, really tense. So somewhere in the middle of release cycle, you will have release candidate one. And when release candidate one goes out, that means that field guide has to be out, published, which means that all dev notes should be published, which means that I had to go through 400 and plus tickets in track, find every ticket that needs to be dev note or needs to be just mentioned in field guide or need to be end user documentation, and then find all the people who are going to write dev notes and then hunt them down to write dev notes and then edit them and add them to the field guide. And if I cannot find anyone for a dev note, I have to write it. So that's like the week before release candidate, and they are always on Tuesday. So everything that happens in release is on Tuesday. So the week before that Tuesday is like the most work for focus lead. And after that, with end user documentation, it's not such a pressure, but because if you do it alone, you cannot do it. There is just no way to do it. But you can ask documentation team to help you and to work on tickets, and hopefully you will get everything documented by the release date, which never happened so far. So we are still looking to see that experience.
Well, that makes sense. There's a lot going on with like every
Yeah.
release, and I don't know, from like me following what happens in the Slack, on the WordPress Slack. I don't know what priority is given in general to the documentation.
Well, not much priority. There are a few people who are really keeping that as a priority, knowing what is the value. And most of people know the value, but nobody wants to do it.
Yeah.
And or there's another thing, developers who wrote the functionality think that they don't know how to do documentation and they're afraid to do it. They just think that they're very bad at it. But the thing is, they don't need to write the complete documentation themselves, even dev notes. If you are a developer and you know what you did, you're the best person who knows what's happening in code. Then you can just give me a list of things. This is what happened, and this is what code does, and here's an example, and I'll put nice words around it and make a nice dev note. So that's not a problem. So if we would work more together, documentation team and all the other core developers, we could actually have updated documentation very easily. But
Okay.
there is no habit to do it, and therefore introducing new workflows is very difficult.
Yeah, that makes sense. I myself suck at documenting things. I do too. It's very helpful too, like the one time or two times that I might actually do it while I'm doing a project, whether it's like for performance audits, for example. I know that when I have in front of me like a document that says 1, do this, 2, do this, 3, do that, it's all going to be much better. But actually getting myself to the point of writing that document is it's like climbing a mountain.
Yeah, well, it seems it just had, as I said, it's a habit. And I actually found that when I document my code, I find a lot of bugs
Hmm.
uh, while doing that. And that is a great way to like use documentation as rubber duck, just go through it and you will find all the errors and everything. You will fix as much as you can fix, and your code will be that much better, but also documented.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Something I'm trying now, I haven't completed it. Surprise, surprise. Something I'm trying now is while I'm doing something, like maybe the same example as before, performance audit, is I chat with ChatGPT about
Mm-hmm.
I did this and I checked this and I checked this.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I ask ChatGPT to give me a summary of what I did,
Yeah.
order.
Mm-hmm.
And then I copy and paste that into a Confluence doc. And then I forget it, which I shouldn't. I should probably expand on it and actually finish.
Yeah.
But do you see people using AI tools in that same sense for the documentation, or not yet, maybe?
Uh, I think AI is very good with writing documentation and also writing tests. Um, it writing the documentation inside of code, like when you select the function and say, write me documentation for this, it's pretty good. It does really good job. When you actually write like code reference, but also explaining what the function or class does, it needs help, but it is helpful to use it, just to have the listable methods, or to do the basic documentation, so you can just add explanations and all of that. Or I mean, to have a really good documentation, you still have to review it and
Mm.
update here and there, but it is very helpful. And also, it depends what you ask it to do and how you ask it to do. Like, how do you do your prompt? It's really, really important.
Yes, of course.
Mhm.
I think it's paramount. I think we have to start training or actually learning how to use all these AI tools that we have. I don't think I use them
Mhm.
optimally myself.
Well, it is a skill almost the same as writing documentation. Like, you really have to detail everything that you want, how you want to, the form of the response, and how you want this to look like, and how you want this to sound like, and how you want AI to behave, which kind of experience to present. So a lot of things matter there. And again, it's a skill and it should be practiced.
Yeah, for sure. There's probably going to be like, if there aren't already, which I'm not aware, but there are probably going to be jobs based around just people using these tools.
Mm-hmm. Probably, yeah.
Speaking of jobs, I'm going to segue into the second question.
Mm-hmm.
A little context before the second question. You work at an agency called XWP.
Yes.
Um, how long have you been at XWP?
Well, I'm there in January. There was the 2 years that I'm
Oh,
there.
okay. It's 2 year
Mm-hmm.
time. 2 years is a good start for a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
So, at your role at XWP, what projects or initiatives have you found most rewarding, like personally rewarding or impactful?
Well, personally, what is the constant for me at XWP is their sponsorship for my work at WordPress.org.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the most impactful, because they enable me to be still present there and give as many hours as I do. Uh, from the other projects, I would say, just learning a lot of different things. I was working on mostly enterprise projects, and they were very different in the, from clients to how they treat their project, and what uh, quality of work they want and what they appreciate. So I mostly learned the difference between agency work and freelance work. I still work as a freelancer as well,
Right.
and that's my primary type of work. I've learned how to be in a different team, so this is also different when you are part of the team in agency and also part of the team in open source. It's completely different, but then again, there are similar things. And I actually improved my own freelance work, not just the code, but how I communicate to a client and how I manage my project. I improved it based on what I've learned in agency work. So I think that's being able to work alone and taking initiative as a freelancer really helped in agency team, but also how you organize things and how you manage things really helped from agency to freelance. And all of that is just going in circles and upgrading with doing work in open source and being part of the team and different teams and leading teams and being led by others. So I think that's the most impactful for me.
That's cool. I love how you can combine that, like, I don't know, can I say triangle of work between the agency work, the open source, like contributing to WordPress, and then your own freelance stuff. What you mentioned how it's like quite different, the agency work as opposed to the contribution work. What do you think is like ideally different? Like,
well, different is that in open source you make your own responsibility, while in agency work you have your own set of responsibilities. You can a little bit go here and there, but that is your responsibility. You are not changing, you are not experiencing other things, and there are specific workflows that you have to follow. You can propose improvements, but still what works for the whole company and specifically for that team, you have to adjust. While in open source, you can be more free in proposing new workflows, in demonstrating and testing those workflows and proving its improvement or not. So you have more freedom, and you can also change your roles. You can make pause on your role. You can do a lot. You can do different roles at the same time, whatever fits your current curiosity. So I would say that open source is more it gives you more freedom to try new things, to learn new skills, while there is, again, in open source as well, there are some principles that are applied to all the teams and that you cannot change, but much more freedom than in agency work.
that's wonderful. I'm a huge advocate of freedom in general, just as a whole concept, as a philosophical concept, not necessarily the freedom that a United States citizen thinks they have, but having the ability to respond to whatever circumstance you want is absolute freedom. Which is too, I think this is a quote from Sadhguru from one of his books, that you should not fear responsibility, because responsibility is the ability to respond, and it's what gives you freedom.
Yeah, that's a good quote.
He does have some interesting books. I'm not so sure about the particular character. Anyway, personal opinion. What do you think, like, okay, on the same question, if you had to, you don't have to answer this, but if you had to pick a favorite of those three, agency, freelancing, and contributing, if you had to, you don't have to answer this. It's
I don't know. I cannot pick up, because I find myself, like my personality has so many different contradictory, ends, and I think that having all these possibilities really satisfy every piece of myself, and I think I would feel like I'm missing something and probably try to find it somewhere.
I was not expecting that kind of response. Wow, that was an amazing response.
Thank you.
Yeah, that really shut me up. Um, cool. I don't know if you want to add anything else about like
No, no.
all right, cool. Let's go into the last question then. The last question is more about WordCamp and how
Mhm.
you started getting yourself involved with organizing WordCamp Europe and in the talks. You've been all over the place with the talks. I've seen you.
Yeah.
And the part of Contributor Day and your role in Contributor Day, because I don't know, have you been a table lead? You probably have.
Yes.
So
Many times.
yeah,
Yeah.
talk about the WordCamp stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm as a person, I'm very much living the open source mentality. Like, if you see that something can be improved, don't tell this could be improved or this should be improved. Just improve it. Just do it. And that's how I approach everything in WordPress community and everything in life, really. So I saw something that I thought it should be differently done, or at least, think about in which different ways it could be done. And I said, okay, I want to try this. And that's how I uh, joined the WordCamp Europe organizing team, and specifically Contributor Day. But also as a member of and co-rep of documentation team, and being so many times a table lead for documentation team. I also I could understand, this other part of organizing Contributor Day, what I need as contributor and volunteer and table lead. And my focus when I was leading organizing Contributor Day at WordCamp Europe 2019. Yeah, I was leading the Berlin one. We were very much focused on onboarding new people, making the event the most pleasant for them. And that's where actually when we created the contributor orientation tool, that was my idea, that happened in 2018 for Belgrade, and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know, I just knew that we need that kind of concept. And I accepted to be the lead just to make sure that tool is created. So we created it in 2019. And right now you can find it at make.wordpress.org/contributing. That's where it landed, and I'm very proud of it. So yeah. So I feel like I did there a lot, and improved some things. And of course, every new team depends on the venue, and a lot of things, you cannot control. Like, will there be only one room? Will there be more than one room? Will every team has it? To the shape of the table, will it be rounded or will it be square? How do people communicate? How do people come to the table? There are a lot of things to consider. So it's always interesting, and I kind of feel that I'm done there. I experimented, I found what worked best for me in specific setting, and every new contributor day is really a new experience. I would say the takeaway from that experience is that first of all, project doesn't exist without community. So we need to nurture community, and also small kindness go a long, long way.
Yes.
I remember we were writing special emails to people who said that it will be their first contributor day ever. So we were making those emails, with details, what to expect there, what's gonna happen, but really like a friend, like older brother or sister, saying we're gonna get there, and first it's gonna be crowded, and then someone will start talking and presenting all the teams, and you will then find which team you want, and you will find it stable. So it was very warm, very friendly, and the last sentence was, you may come as contributor, but you will leave as a family.
Oh.
And I remember one first time attendee was tweeting about it, saying how beautiful she felt and welcomed, and she can't wait to go there. And that was really a big success for me, because I was reading feedback from previous years where first timers felt like they weren't welcome, or not just welcome, nobody was treating them bad, but they didn't feel like they belonged there, and they felt really strange, and they were thinking maybe this is really not for me. So that was real success, just that sentence and that tweet about that.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I've heard a couple different stories for their first contributor days, like Courtney Robinson. She was also, in a sense, not pushed off, but personally intimidated by some of the teams and how can I get there. And I was kind of the same way until like someone at the hosting table at some point said, that's it. They just needed that look, that welcoming look, and I said, I can sit here now.
Yes.
The first contributor day. But crazy, amazing initiative. Plus, that's very cute, that quote that you said about coming as a contributor and leaving as a family. I'm going to use that.
Nice. I'm glad.
It's really cute. Wow, you've done a lot. How long have you been involved with the community side of things?
Well, I started actually when I found out that there is Serbian community. I didn't know that. I was contributing to documentation for a long time, but I didn't know there was like community of people in Serbia who actually meet and talk to each other. So in 2016, they came to Novi Sad for the first time for a meetup, and I found out like they already had a couple of WordCamps in Belgrade, and there was a really strong community in Niš, and I was like, who are these people? Where are they? How do I not know about that? And I was involved from the first day. So on the second meetup, I was giving talk, and I was always from that second meetup, I was always kind of involved in organizing meetups in my city, and right now I'm organizing meetups in my city. So since 2016, 9 years. Wow.
Yeah.
I just realized. Yeah.
It's amazing. That's nearly a decade. Wow.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work. I signed up to see one of the virtual ones, but I didn't show up. I hope to see the next one.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. We're running a little short on time. We still have some time.
Yeah,
but
I see.
Maybe if there's something else you want to add on the
no,
work,
I'm...
or in general, maybe a general message of Milana Cup.
Well, general message, I think we can go with this question. What would be my advice to people who wants to
sure.
contribute to open source projects? I think the best advice I can give after, almost 15 years being in open source,
Mm-hmm.
just find what you love, and do that, because if you expect today, open source is very different from what it was 15 years ago. 15 years ago, open source project was a pet project that you did, for love, but now it's, for some, it's even business, and people have different expectations. People think, if I come there and I give my work, somebody will give me thanks, or I will get a badge, or those things. Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for yourselves. And to be able to do it for yourself, you really have to enjoy that. You really have to love that, and you really need to do something that you would do for free and in your free time, and to give your time. Time is the most valuable thing we have. And if
That's all
you're
we have.
willing to, yeah, if you're willing to give that, give it to something that you will enjoy, and everything else that you hope for to get from that will come.
Wow, very inspirational.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Milana Kamp,
Mm.
Milana Kamp, a self-taught developer that made it quite far, especially in the WordPress community and in the open source community. A decade in, or nearly a decade in WordPress, and 15 years in open source. Super impressive.
Thank you.
Cool. I'll make sure to leave all your social links in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from that, where do you think people can find you? What's your
Well, I don't know. I can be found in Slack at WordPress.
Mhm.
Also post status Slack and Twitter or X, whatever, Blue Sky and Instagram and Mattermost. So I think quite a lot
Going to
places.
be a big video description.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Cool. I guess this is the part where we say goodbye to everyone.
Yeah.
Bye,
Bye. Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank